Hello. Today, I'm going to talk to you about how fitness can be stupid simple. And I'm going to talk to you in the best way I can, which is a slideshow. This is what school taught you. So, we're going to go through and I'm going to explain it to you. Now, first thing I want to talk about is understand your goals. Understanding your goals will point you to the right direction with your training and diet. And if you understand the place you want to end up at, it's kind of easy to figure out what you're going to do to reach that with just a little bit of research and everything. Here's some different forms of this is the very simple stuff. Like if you want to lose weight, granted, like how much weight you want to lose will change the amount of degree, like the degree of how intense these things will be. Yeah, you want to lose weight, strength training, a calorie deficit, and cardio. These are really the only three things you need. Um, Now, if you have some health conditions or if you want to try other things, then be my guest. But those are really the only three things you need. Want to get stronger? Strength training, that kind of makes sense. And a calorie maintenance or a surplus, it really doesn't matter. A surplus, you'll probably get stronger faster, but you might gain some body weights that might not be muscle. Just depends on how you're training. And athletic movements. So stuff like really like push press, squats, box jumps, all these things that will basically make your joints explosive. And then gaining muscle slash size, which are kind of the same thing. Strength training's strength training, like it's just the best thing ever when it comes to most things. And a calorie surplus. Now, the calorie surplus doesn't mean you just eat whatever you want. There's some barriers to that, which we'll get to later. We got an example here. This is Philip. He's 25 years old, 5'10", 230, with a over 35 percent body fat, which is not good, right? Clearly unhealthy. Wants to lose weight, feel stronger, and be able to play basketball with his friends. These are pretty simple goals. This is pretty easy to work with. Well, he's got to set a realistic time frame for these goals. And this, if I bring my mouse here, this photo right here is actually a 3-year transformation. This first part, this first photo I researched, he honestly, I mean, this isn't that bad of a physique. Now, granted, I could get why you would want to get a better physique, but this isn't terrible. But it takes 2-3 years to get to this. I mean, he looks great in this next photo. So just set a realistic time frame. You want to lose 50 pounds, it'll probably take a while. If you want to look super muscular and ripped, it's probably going to take a while. You just got to set those realistic time frames, because if you set anything shorter, oh, I want to be ripped before summer, and summer's in 3 months, and you still look like a twig when summer comes around and you feel demotivated, that's just not how that works. So that is definitely what I would say about that. And then strength training will help his joints and muscles get healthier. Your body will get used to lifting weights, therefore your joints will get used to lifting weights, which just makes everyday life easier. If you're able to pick up hundreds of pounds when you're asked to help move with your friend, picking up that 50-pound furniture will be amazing. That's just one example. I mean, it just helps with everything. And cardio and athletic practice for basketball. This is, again, he wanted to be able to play basketball. So basketball practice isn't just going out in the court, shooting around, trying your best. Cardio will help with a further calorie deficit. I did forget to mention, I will say, you caught me. I didn't put calorie deficit in here. That's also a big thing. I mean, make sure you're getting below your calories. And I'm actually going to show you how to make sure you're in a calorie deficit. So if we go here, we'll look up calorie calculator. Go here. So here, we have a calorie calculator. And now let's go to Philip here. He's 25, 5'10", 230. Okay? 25, we're already here. He's a dude, and he's 230. And I mean, he's about to start exercising, so we'll just keep it at moderate, right? And hit calculate. Right here, it says his maintenance is almost 3,000 calories. And if he wants to lose weight, he'd be eating under 2,700. Or just honestly anything under this. Now, this is not perfect, okay? This is a website with a formula that is just for the average person. So let's say you do this. You eat this many amount of calories and you still don't lose weight. Just lower it a little bit. And this is the same thing for trying to gain weight, honestly. You do this, you eat over this, you're still not gaining weight. You got to eat more. I mean, that's just how it is. Both sides of the spectrum. You're not losing weight, you got to eat less. And it is calories. It's not the amount of food. It's the calories. Calories are important, right? So I would, you use one of these, you do some experimentation, it works out. Let's go back into it. But yeah, athletic practice. Right here, this bottom photo, these are plyometrics. I would definitely look into them if you're trying to be an athletic person. And yeah, no, great stuff. Training. You will get nothing out of training without effort. Lifting the same weights over a long period of time will do just about nothing for you. So I need these 3 things. Lift with good form. Now, you're always wondering, oh, I need a trainer for good form. You're trying to sell money or whatever. So you're trying to make me want to have a trainer or whatever. Lifting with good form is a personal thing that you can do yourself. I did it myself. Again, I'm going to show you. Hello, this is editing Max here. I am going over this, and I realized that I low-key explained it in a bad way, and I'd rather just explain it better right now. So let me pull it up for you. And what I was about to say is, while I'm pulling this up, if you feel like your form's off, or you just want to make sure, and some key details to make sure your form is correct. I mean, do you feel the muscle you're trying to work? So if you're benching, do you feel it in your chest? Right. Or do you feel it in your shoulders? Or your triceps more. Sorry, excuse me. That's a thing. And also, if it hurts, you either A, are injured, which is bad. You should rehab that. Or B, you're doing it wrong. So I'm going to pull it up for you guys. It's a YouTube short, so it's a little low quality. But you can see this guy is squatting. This is pretty perfect form. Right? This is pretty perfect form. Now, you can also look up a video, squat. Yeah, squat technique for beginners. I mean, you look this up. You have videos how to squat correctly, no back pain, all these things. I mean, you could do this for almost every major exercise, or even niche ones as well. And it is really simple to fix your technique, and I would recommend recording yourself. Therefore, you know what you're doing wrong. Because if you could sit there and watch a video, and then watch the video of yourself, the video that showed you all the cool techniques you can apply to yourself, and you can look at it and be like, ooh, my knees kind of buckled, they kind of went in when I squatted, or my back was kind of hunched. And then you can look up cues on how to fix that. So I did a terrible job explaining that. I hope I did a little bit better job right now. But yeah, enjoy the rest of it. Lift with lots of effort You cannot say this enough. I don't want you going to the gym and you don't even break a sweat. I need you to be there and actually put in some work. Okay? You got to be training close to failure. Now, granted, it's hard. It is a mental block. If it was easy, everyone would be ripped. Okay? So you need to just figure it out. It's hard to do. And once you're able to lock that into your head, that you just need to train harder and stop being a wuss about it, it really doesn't even matter. Okay? I like that. That is the biggest thing. And make sure to progressive overload. What is progressive overload? It's kind of a buzz term at this point. Everyone's saying it. Every fitness guru is saying it. Progressive overload is the practice of gradually increasing the stress placed on your body during exercise over time, which is what Google said. Now, basically, what this means is instead of doing the same thing over and over again, if you're training the failure, your body's going to get used to a certain weight or a certain uh, rep range. Okay? So let's say you squat 200 pounds for 6 reps. And next week you squat 200 pounds for 6 reps. There's no progression there. Progressive overload. You're trying to put more stress. So instead, with progressive overload, you would either do 200, so 200 for 6 one week, and let's say 210 for 5 or 6 the next week. That's progressive overload. Or 200 one week, 200 for 6 one week, and then 200 for 8 or 7 the next week. See, there's a little bit more every single week. That's progressive overload. And good ways to make sure you're using progressive overload is tracking your workouts. Track how much weight, how many reps you do. You can just look at your heaviest sets, or you can look at the whole thing. I would rather you look at the whole thing. And training till failure on most movements will just automatically kind of do it. Because if you're training till failure almost all the time, the weights that you're doing will eventually just not push you to failure. And if you're always going for it, that will definitely do. And then increasing the weight every week. Even if you don't feel like it. I've been doing that recently. I mean, I track all my stuff. I look at my stuff. I'm like, dang, I think this is about this. I think I'm gonna honestly like this. I don't think I can do more today, but you know what? I'll just try it. And most of the time, I may be able to do it because I train to get stronger. So I am stronger. It's just my mind is the thing stopping me. Um, and that is the truth about all this. So, and diet. Now, diet is about, I'd say, like 70% of training, okay? The kitchen is where most of your gains or most of your fat loss will come from. And the first thing I want to go over is the macronutrients. So, macronutrients, which are essential nutrients for your body, needs in large amounts to provide energy, maintain structure, and support systematic functions. Now, granted, I looked this up, but sources are in the description. I'm not plagiarizing, I swear. And then the 3 macronutrients are protein, carbohydrates, and fats. A balanced diet of all 3 allows for good health. All 3, right? You can't have cutting out complete fats. You're not going to be healthy. You know why? It says right here. Fats provide highly concentrated energy, which is where you get your fat stores from. And it also protects your organs and builds cell membranes. Do you know what's in between cell membranes? Let's go back to biology, okay? Lipids. You know what lipids are? Fats. That's what holds everything together, okay? That's just how our bodies function. That's why you still need fat, even if you're trying to lose it. It's just, that's how our body functions. Carbohydrates are your body's main energy source. You eat some pasta, your body's going to use that pasta as energy first before your fat storages, and they're very important for feeling energized. So I usually try to have a very high carb breakfast so that I can be nice and awake. For my, I usually go for, honestly, I go for a very high calorie breakfast. I'll usually be a little lenient on my fats, a lot of protein, a lot of carbs. By lenient, I mean like there's some good fats I'll throw in there. I won't just throw like a bunch of butter and stuff like that in there. Like I'm talking like egg fats and stuff like that. Protein is the transporters and building blocks of nearly every function in the body. Um, Almost everything in your body needs protein. Your muscles, which is the obvious one, that's one people know. Collagen, which is this, I mean, the stuff that people are getting supplements for is protein. Your hair, your nails, healthy hair and nails comes from really good protein intake, and also maintenance, like whatever hair products. But separate topic. That's not even what we're talking about. Um, all these things come from protein. People think, oh, high protein means more muscle. No, you will generally feel so much better with a lot of protein, and it's kind of crazy that people aren't educated about that more. Everyone says eat a lot of protein, eat a lot of protein. Now, granted, the amount of protein you should have is about 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So, let's circle back to Philip. So, let's go, Philip. Philip was 250, okay? Now, 250's kind of a lot of protein. So, we're actually going to go on the lower end calculator. So, he's 250. We'll go on the lower end. We'll say times 0.7. He'd be having the minimum amount of protein he should be having is 175, right? And let's say he does like 0.9. Oh. Let's say he goes for 0.9, 225. I would probably recommend 220 to him. That's a high amount of protein, especially because he's trying to lose weight without losing his muscle. So 220 is probably where I would be at for him. And losing and gaining weight is as simple as calories in, calories out. We just looked at the calorie calculator. I said I was going to get back to that. So you will lose weight no matter what you eat if your calories are below maintenance. And we have studies proving that. You will gain weight no matter what you eat. As if you're over your maintenance calories. The hard part about this is people don't know where their maintenance calories are. I know where they are because of experimentation. Most people don't know where they are and just think that they either don't know how much food they're eating or they don't know where their maintenance is. That's usually how it goes. So, let me give you an example. Let's say someone's overweight. They want to lose weight, but they only eat. Let me think of a good one here. They only eat chocolate, right? Let's say their maintenance calories is 2,800, or let's say 3,000, and they eat 2,600 calories worth of chocolate. They might not feel good, which we'll get to, but they will lose weight. Same thing on the other end. All right, let's say you only eat salad. Again, really healthy weight loss food, okay? Your maintenance is 3,000 calories. You want to gain weight. You eat 3,300 calories worth of salad. You will gain weight. Okay? That's just how that works. That is very dumbed down. All right? It's not even dumbed down. It is that simple. Calories in, calories out. That's how you lose weight. Okay? Now, there is one little detail that could get a little bit complex. If you're eating too little food, your body won't know how to digest. If you're eating too little food when you're trying to lose weight, when it comes to fasting, if you're literally starving yourself because you're only eating in like the 1,000 calories, right? Your body's metabolism is going to slow down because it thinks you're starving. All right, it's going to, and you're not going to lose weight. Your body adapts. It adapts to survival. So if you put it in a survival standpoint, it will stay the same. But if you do very slight stuff, you'll get way more results. Actual nutrition is a complicated topic that I would dumb down to if you eat whole natural foods like lean meats, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, complex carbs, and other healthy foods, yogurt, just all those things, right? You will probably feel better, and they usually do have better macros when it comes to balanced stuff. So they usually are a little lower on the fat. Like the fruits and veggies are pretty high in carbs, and they're complex carbs. And complex carbs can be like pastas and basically just anything other than simple sugars that you would find in candies and stuff like that. And then lean meats are very high in protein. I mean, astronomically high in protein. Chicken breast is like 70 grams of protein. That is crazy. And you can have one chicken breast a meal. And 3 meals a day, 210 calories or grams of protein, sorry. So they are usually better macros, right? And you'll probably feel better because whole natural foods and healthy foods, they're healthy foods because they have a lot of vitamins. They have a lot of things that your body loves to have. And then if you eat processed foods like fast food, candies, low quality pastries like a honey bun or like chips, and other unhealthy foods, you'll probably feel worse, and they're super easy to overeat. A bag of chips has 14 grams of fat. That's insane. And I mean, honey buns, they like 86 grams of carbs, 30 grams of fat. It's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Fast food, same story. Now, granted, there's fast food you can eat that isn't that bad for you, but it's something you have to look out for because they're super easy to overeat. The poison's in the dose. Now, one honorable mention about diet that I will say is water intake is key. You drink like crazy amounts of water. Not enough, of course, for water poisoning, but let's say you have a gallon. Let's say you got a bit over a gallon a day. You're set. You'll feel great. All these things, especially mixed with like a hydration powder or something like that. Water is amazing, right? It's the same thing as protein that people don't realize that everything needs water in your body. So just drinking enough water when you feel kind of dehydrated. Some people only drink 50 ounces a day. You need to bump that up by twice minimum. You need to times that by 2. All right. Times it by 3, honestly. So, and then we're saving the best for last here. The most important topic is your mental, man. Your mind is, if it's not in the right place, you will leave progress on the table. You got to conquer this before you get to changing any of this. I mean, it's just true. I want to share a couple thoughts about mentality to you that I have heard and that I really support, which is consistency over perfection, which basically just means, I mean, let's say you have a day, you feel really tired and you have a training session that day. You feel really tired. I'd rather you still go and maybe do a little bit worse performance-wise, like go and not feel perfect, than just not going at all. Because if you don't go and you're like, I need to wait for a day that I feel perfect, you don't. You just need to go. All right. You need to show up. And once you show up, it doesn't matter. I mean, I wrote taking steps toward your goal is best, even if the steps feel little. I mean, come on. We grew up taking tiny little steps, and we didn't grow up analyzing every step. No, it would take forever to learn how to walk. Okay? So that's how I want you to take that. Consistency over perfection all the time. Consistency is so important. And you don't want it. If you can't figure out why you can't stick to anything then you might just not want it enough, which is something to consider looking at. And I don't mean to say this to diminish you into just turning your back on it, but sit with yourself and really question, are you putting enough effort, and do you even want it enough? Right? You don't want it enough, it won't come to you. It really won't. I mean, that's just how this goes. You gotta want it, and you gotta want to succeed to even make any progress. And honestly, that's the biggest advice I give someone is you need to want this. You don't want it? I don't get it. All right, you set a goal for yourself. You set it to yourself. You said these things to yourself, right? You're like, I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna get bigger. I'm gonna get stronger. I'm gonna be able to bench 315. But you just don't show up. You don't. You don't want to do those things because if you did, you'd be here. Which brings us to my last point, which is be open to vulnerability. Ask someone for help if you need it. Don't be afraid to record yourself in public or even post yourself, right? Progression is easier to look at if you have pictures of it, especially when you can compare it side by side. You showed up and nobody has the right to make fun of that. Okay? Now, let's say your form's really bad. The people that just would laugh at you are wrong. But the people that laugh and come up to you and help you are right. Okay? That's just how it is. You showed up to the gym. You're doing good. Now, as someone who's very big in the fitness, when I see someone morbidly obese, just severely overweight, if I see him in public, I feel bad. I feel kind of sad, right? Because you don't know what they're going through, but they're clearly not in a good place if they're in that state physically. But if I were to see someone morbidly obese or severely overweight, or let's say on the other side of the spectrum, like deathly skinny, right? And they're in the gym, right? I will feel proud of that person because they showed up, right? They're vulnerable right now because they're kind of showing everyone that's in the fitness where they let themselves get into, yet they still show up. And that will always be the strongest people there. So that's how I would put that. I mean, show up, do your stuff again, be consistent, consistency over perfection. I mean, you're gonna do amazing things. All right. Training is stupid simple. It's really simple once you get into it. It just gets complex once you start looking into the minor details. Everything can be overcomplicated, or if you like it, just enough complicated. I always, if you want me to go into depth into any of these topics, let me know. But I have spoken. I really like this. Again, sources are in the description. And thank you for watching.